the bold, the brave, the beautiful. They turned their problems into prospects, crying into creation, pain into purposes, trials into triumph. Your show every Saturday, 7 p.m. Central African Time. Tune in and be blessed. Brought to you by Shunem K.
Don't forget to subscribe and click the notification button.
Ladies and gentlemen, I am very excited today that we are one more time here in this show of the bold, the brave, and the beautiful. Today we are blessed to have a bold, brave, and beautiful counselor, teacher, natural therapist, and an author all the way from down under Brisbane, Australia. Welcome, Narelle, to the show.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. Kindly tell us about yourself, where you live, what you do for a job, and so on.
So, as you said before, I live in Brisbane in Australia, and I live with my husband, Brett, and my lovely ragdoll cat, Raggy.
Wow.
And I run my own counselling and natural therapy business, mostly at the moment just doing telehealth counselling, and I specialise in grief and loss and work predominantly with people who are going through grief and loss.
Beautiful. Quite a critical job at this time when people are losing their loved ones and people are facing the pandemic. It must be draining, although fulfilling at the same time, to be doing counseling. And basically now you're doing telecounseling, right? Okay.
Yes, I started off.
Yeah.
I started off doing it face-to-face with people, but then with the pandemic, it's been difficult to do that with all the lockdowns. So now I get to connect with people over Zoom like we're doing today, and over the telephone, so I can support them all around Australia.
Beautiful. I feel that hearts are warmed up and they are mended in their brokenness. I don't know whether you are comfortable in telling us about your experience of not having a child.
Yes, I'm very open to share my story. Yeah.
Beautiful.
It has been a long time since we lost our child. It's been 11 years, so I'm in the phase of my grief where I've done a lot of healing, a lot of soul searching, and I'm up to a place where I'm happy to share my story. I'm actually doing that through my book at the moment too, which we'll talk about later. But my story, I guess, began when I met my husband, and I was only about 23 or 24 at the time, and by the time we decided to get married, I was 27, 28, and my husband already had children. So while we were planning to get married, we were also talking about having our own family and what that would look like. And I knew from the early stages of when we were dating that would be not traditional, because my husband had already had a vasectomy, so I knew that we wouldn't just naturally have a baby. So we spoke about, having some operations to reverse the vasectomy, and that didn't go to plan. So then we started speaking about fertility treatments and IVF because we both wanted to have a family together. And so, yes, that was a long emotional roller coaster ride, as anyone knows who's been through IVF. Just that unnatural way of trying to have what's meant to be very natural, a child. Yeah, that was a long journey. A long journey. We went through years of IVF. Yeah.
And I think it must have been draining to have those cycles one after the other, and for Brett to be going for vasectomy, I mean the reversal and things not going according to plan, it must have been taking a toll on your mental health. And I want to say you are very bold in doing this very thing, to then step out and be a healer of those that are broken when you are broken as well. You have a great ministry in relation to counseling, natural healing. How did that start?
Yeah, I guess it started with me, as I think all healing ultimately does. It started with me healing myself. And while I was going through all the IVF cycles, I was running my own natural therapy practice at the time because it was very hard for me to go back into a classroom, which was my career as a school teacher. But I found that difficult when I was struggling to have my own children. So I started moving into the natural therapy space. And while I was going through all of the rounds of IVF and the grief and loss that comes with that, I did lots of healing sessions on myself and with other people as I was learning crystal healings and Reiki and massage and different natural therapy practices that would assist me with my healing and releasing the grief and the pain as I went through all the cycles, to no avail.
No avail. And the last phrase is to no avail. I'm seeing someone who is saying, okay, this didn't help. While this didn't help, I am still willing to help others as well who are in this situation. What could be the connection between your counseling ministry and childlessness? What is the connection between the two of them?
Yeah, well, through my journey, I felt quite isolated. I had my husband, who was an amazing support person, but lots of other people around you, I don't know if they're frightened by grief or it's uncomfortable, it's messy, it's yucky. So they don't often lean in towards you. They often walk away or don't really want to be close. Because it's hard for them to see you in so much pain, I think, and to try and support you. So feeling so isolated when I was going through my journey, I thought that it was very important that I use my growth and what I had learned through my pain and turn that into some sunshine to support other people so they didn't feel so alone, so I could validate where they've been and what they've been going through.
That's very beautiful. It can only come from someone who has looked at their pain as a resource to be of help to others who may be going through different forms of pain. And I want to say that's being brave and beautiful and bold. And we are grateful for that kind of stepping out and be of help to others that are in pain. Now, I'm wondering, with this kind of pain, with this kind of pressure, with this kind of failure to, okay, according to societal norms, failure to be the kind of woman that you ought to be. I mean, when you are childless, the social script is saying, no, Narelle has not yet gotten there. What is it that feeds your drive? Because you are out there as a woman that really is doing great things. And what is it that feeds your drive?
What feeds me is creating conversations around this and connection. I think as humans, it's all about connecting with other people. We feel less isolated or less crazy in our own grief and loss when we feel like someone else can validate what we're going through or understands what we're going through. So I think my drive has always been to help people, even, you know, when I was a school teacher, it's always been to help other people. And that's continued. It's just in a different way that I help adults now instead of children. And it's always been, I guess, my life purpose to support other people and help as many people as I can.
Oh, so there is this soft heart that is somewhere there that's saying people should be helped, people should be assisted, people should be cared for. And I don't know down under whether this is the notion about childless people. From this side of the world where I come from, it is when you are childless, you are the embodiment of mercilessness, if there's such a thing. I don't know whether down under is that thing, it's the same. But what you are actually saying is painting a different picture altogether to say, this woman is childless, but she still cares. Care to share anything about that?
Yeah, and I think it's probably similar in Australia. Childlessness is a taboo topic. We live in this pronatalist society where everyone expects or encourages women to have children. So there is a lot of misunderstanding about women and, for that matter, men too, who don't have children and not being able to understand those people or where they're coming from. So I think it is really important to be talking about these topics and to be, you know, acknowledging that it happens to lots of people. There are lots and lots of people who experience infertility and loss, and we can't just pretend that, you know, it doesn't happen or ignore or shun these people. We need to acknowledge their pain and help them to feel included as well, because we're all human.
That's quite important, because I think going out there in this space, Narelle, and saying nothing about this topic may not be helpful to those people who are going through this. And naturally, we are a sidelined group of people. People just decide, no, I think we're not going to be associating ourselves with these people. And so I think what you've said is quite important. We have a fourth baby after spirit, soul channeling, and letting go. Oh, tell me about this new baby that is on the way. Okay, actually, the baby has arrived, rather. It's not on the way. The baby has arrived. Tell me about the baby.
Yeah, interesting that you use that, I guess, analogy of a baby, because that's also the title of my baby, my new book. It's called The Baby Dream, and it's called The Baby Dream, Learning to Live with Infertility and Loss. And it's the story of my journey through infertility and through loss, because we didn't talk about it, but the last cycle of IVF, my husband and I actually did have a baby, but he only lived for 45 minutes, and his name was River. And yeah, and so he is the drive and my passion as well behind my book and what I do, because, you know, he's connected with me in spirit and told me to share our story to help other people. So yeah, my new book is this one here, The Baby Dream.
Wow. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. The Baby Dream. That must be a very good read. Just walk us through this book briefly, what is in it, and what your readers need to look out for in this book.
Yeah, so it's just my story, but I think there are lots of universal messages when we talk about grief and loss and childlessness and infertility treatments. I think we go through our own experiences very differently. Grief is different for all of us, and our journey is always different, but there are lots of common themes that we experience. So through the book, I talk about, or at least I start by talking about that pronatalist society that I talked about how women sort of encourage, not women, sorry, people encourage us in society to be mums and to have children, and how that's expected of us, and how we grow up as little girls thinking that that will be our dream and just almost expecting that that will happen without considering that it wouldn't happen. And then I go on to talk about my journeys through IVF and fertility treatments and what that's like, because that's a crazy journey of lots of ups and downs and lots of grief and pain and hormones and drugs and lots of things. And then the book concludes by talking about my experiences of being pregnant and then losing a child, and how we cope with grief and loss after we lose a child, and how I made the painful decision with my husband to actually let go of the dream of continuing to chase having a child, because it had just got too much for us emotionally and financially, and it was more nurturing for us at the time to accept that we had to think about different dreams and what they would look like. And I know that's not everyone's journey, but sometimes there is a time where you have to realize that you can't keep doing that to yourself. Yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful. It is quite something that is touching to come to a point where someone says, okay, this is what the society says it's the ideal, but for the sake of who we are and what we've been through, let us stop chasing this dream, because it may be draining to us, and it may be it drains financially. It really drains emotionally. It drains, and psychologically I think it must be draining. It is draining, and somebody can say, no, you should have continued trying. Maybe the society will say you should have continued trying. But it is only the individual that is in this pain that knows how deep the cut has been. If the cut is deep emotionally, sometimes launching back into a normal state may not be very easy. And so it would be okay for me to say congratulations for taking a step that really brings emotional wellness to your side. And I really acknowledge that it is not everyone who should have a child. It is some should have children, but if we don't have the children, it is good to acknowledge that I have not been given this. Since I have not been given this, let me chase other dreams, because the world has lots of dreams to be chased. So
Yes.
I want to say kudos to you and also to Brett for that bold decision. It must have been a challenging decision, but you made it nonetheless. And so I want to acknowledge that.
Thank you very much.
You're most welcome. You're most welcome. You're most welcome. And also, let me also take this time to thank you for chronicling this taboo topic. When I started to search out for literature in this direction, there is very scanty literature. It's very limited. And so when one book is coming, another one is coming, and another one is coming, you are adding to the literature that is very, very few in the world. And there are books about marriage. It's fine. It's plenty of them. But when you talk about this topic, and it is a very beautiful topic. If one desires to get this book, how do they get it?
Yeah, so that's what we're working on at the moment, my publisher and I. It's been a little challenging with COVID because freight and transport has been quite delayed in the world at the moment. Trying really hard to get my book overseas. And it's been 3 months in the making of trying to get it on Amazon.com. But it's very available for people in Australia at the moment and New Zealand, but that doesn't help you guys just yet.
Yes,
but you can get it. You can get the book at amazon.com.au and hopefully in the very near future amazon.com. And if you're in Australia, you can also get it at Booktopia. And on my website, if you go to narellehudson.com, you'll find my book, and you can always send me a message and I can talk to you about posting it over to you overseas until it's available on amazon.com.
Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. The website, once again,
narellehudson.com.
Okay, thank you very much. You can just check it down here. It is there written. That is the website where you can click and get your book delivered to you. Get in touch with Narelle, and you are going to be blessed with this tremendous book that is birthed out of pain. I love to use that analogy because we have this privilege of birthing different things than from the world. The other people are birthing children, but we birth books, we birth dreams, and we have the baby dream that was born by Narelle, and we are grateful that it is there. Narelle, care to share your last words that will be words of hope to someone who is sinking in grief and someone who is in pain, someone who is saying, I think I can't make it, it's difficult, it's tough for me? Care to share those words?
Yeah, I think ultimately, whether you have the baby or whether you don't, we have to know that we're enough just as we are. And that, you know, even if you don't have the baby dream, as you said before, there are lots of other dreams that we can have, and, you know, they're not too shabby either. I've got to travel the world with my husband and do lots of beautiful things and write my book, and I get to help people every day with their grief and loss. So there are lots of other things that we can do with our life if we're not meant to have one particular dream. And I think sometimes it can be better for our soul to let go of that dream if it's not serving us or it's affecting our mental health.
Wow, wow, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. I'm super excited that we have spent this time to talk about a taboo topic, and we are breaking the silence, and we are saying we are the bold, the brave, and she is the beautiful one, because I'm not beautiful, I'm handsome. And I want to thank Narelle for taking this time to speak from her heart and share her testimony, a personal experience on being childless, and also the new baby that has been born, the fourth one in a row, and her kindness that comes from a place that says we as a people are childless, still care. We are not merciless. Childlessness is not equal to mercilessness. It is really caring for other people. And so thank you very much, Narelle, for taking your time. And thank you, viewers, for taking your time to watch this show. May you be blessed. Until next time when we meet, it is my time and Narelle to say bye-bye.
Bye.
Brought to you by Shunem K.
Don't forget to subscribe and click the notification button.